Hey, Jim Wolf here with dating advice for men who love women. There's this idea floating around out there that all women are the same, or that all women are like that. So is that really true? And whether or not that's true, how do you know if a woman is really a good choice for you or not in terms of dating her and being in a relationship with her and potentially even marrying her? How do you really know if a woman is right for you? That's what this presentation is all about. So first of all, are all women actually the same? Well, the answer to this question is actually a paradox, because the answer is actually yes and no. Yes, all women are the same, and no, not all women are the same at the same time. And there are two sides to this truth, and both of them are important when it comes to your dating and relationship success. And so here's the reality of whether or not all women are the same. So first of all, number one, all psychologically stable heterosexual women respond to the same inputs when it comes to attraction and love. I'm going to say that one more time. If a woman is relatively psychologically stable and she's heterosexual, she responds to the same attraction and love principles as every other woman. She might have a different type of guy that she's physically attracted to at first, and she may or may not be interested in you, but if she's interested in a guy, she responds to the same dating and love principles as anybody else. And here's the key to this one. This is why this is actually really important for us. When you start to think that a particular woman is special and you stop doing the things that work when it comes to attracting and keeping her, that's when you're in danger of losing her. So when you start to think that certain things don't apply to a woman just because you like her a lot, that's when you get yourself in trouble and you start losing her. Because again, when it comes to romance, women respond to the same inputs the same way. And if you start thinking that one of them doesn't, you start getting yourself in trouble. And here's another thing about this that I have found really interesting over the years. I actually have a lot of female clients that like women, and these principles work for them too. So this might even go beyond this bubble of women who are interested in men to most women or a lot of women. And I'm not saying every single woman in the world responds to all of these attraction and love inputs the same way, because there's a spectrum of behaviors. However, again, if a woman is relatively psychologically stable and she's interested in men, then they do respond to the same inputs. And another thing about that that's interesting is that women are consistent in their dating and relationship behaviors. It doesn't seem like that sometimes to us. However, if a woman is interested in you and she's available and you apply the principles of attraction and love that we talk about all the time the correct way, she will respond positively to that. So just remember that when you have extremely high interest in a woman, that doesn't mean that she's different from other women when it comes to attraction and love. You want to apply the principles the same way with every woman that you're interested in, especially if you think she's special, because you want to attract her and you want her to stay in your life and you want her to be happy. And the things that we talk about doing are what allow a woman to become more attracted to you and fall deeply in love with you and then want to stay with you as long as you want to be together with her. And so just keep in mind that she's actually not different. The more you understand and accept this concept, the better you will do, especially with the women that you're highly interested in. So I encourage you to embrace this beautiful truth right now if you haven't already. Now, on the other hand, here's the other side of this coin. Of course, women are not all the same. Obviously, different women have different tastes, different preferences, different personalities, different values, and different lifestyles. And they have different physical types that they're looking for. And they have different personalities that they tend to mesh with naturally. So, of course, not all women are the same. And most importantly for you, Number 2, some women would make a good choice for a long-term partner for you, while some women would not. So of course they're not all the same. Some women would make you a good partner, and some women would not. Because here's the thing. There are certain characteristics that a woman must have based on research for you to be able to be happy with her in a long-term relationship. This is not about being friends with her or dating her for a while or having fun with her, but if you want to have a happy, healthy, satisfying long-term relationship with her and or you want to get married to her, then she absolutely must have specific characteristics that allow for that kind of relationship to form with you. And some women have those characteristics right now, while some women do not. And so what are those characteristics that make a woman a good choice for you? Well, the right woman for you is, first of all, interested in you, because we want to date someone who actually likes us, not someone who we just have all the interest in her and she's not really interested. So for you to have a good relationship with a woman, she has to be interested in you. And I know that sounds kind of obvious, but most guys ignore female interest completely when female interest is actually the most important factor in your relationship with a woman. The more interested she is in you, the deeper her real feelings inside herself for you are, the better your relationship will be with her. It's all about how she feels about you. That's the key to relationships. If a woman is deeply in love with you, she'll do anything for you. She'll work with you on your flaws. She'll be nicer to you. She'll treat you better. And so we want a woman who's deeply interested in us. That's number 1. And then, of course, she must also be available. If she lives in another country and you can't date her or be with her and neither one of you is going to move anytime soon, she's not available. Or if she has a boyfriend or a husband right now, she's not available. And I can't tell you how many men get strung along by women for a long time just because that woman likes that attention, or maybe she is interested, but she is still in a relationship. And sometimes it's really hard for her to leave that relationship. And a guy keeps thinking like, oh, she's going to leave him, and then she doesn't. And so if a woman is not available, she can't be the right woman for you. Just say, hey, when you're single, give me a call, I'll take you out. And then move on to the next. So the right woman for you is interested in you. She's available right now. And she's great. Greatt. I made these characteristics into an acronym so that they're easier for you to remember. So the right woman for you is great with 2 T's. And that acronym stands for a woman who is giving instead of taking, because some women only think about themselves, while some women are more naturally giving. And for you to be happy over the long term, you need to be with a woman who at least considers you some of the time. That sounds obvious, but a lot of guys don't look at these things at all when they're dating. And then the right woman for you is also responsible. That's the R. So it might be cool to date a woman who's irresponsible and have fun with her for a while, but when it comes to forming a long-term relationship with her, is she going to show up to events on time? Is she going to remember to pick up your kids from school if you have them? Is she going to leave bills unpaid and create more problems in your life? Is she an asset to your team, or is she a liability? So you want a woman who is responsible. And then the right woman for you is also emotionally stable instead of neurotic. Now, listen, of course, we all feel all kinds of different emotions all the time. And we all have bad days and good days, and sometimes we accidentally fly off the handle or something like that. So what this means is not just like, oh, one day she has a bad day and she gets pissed off and yells at you or something. What this means basically is, what is her default setting? Is she usually pretty emotionally stable and sometimes she has a weird or a bad day? Or is she always flying off the handle about every little thing? That's what you want to look for this one. And then the right woman for you is also agreeable instead of inflexible. If a woman is deeply in love with you and she's even a giver, but she's not flexible, you're eventually going to be unhappy in that relationship. And so what this quality means is basically like sometimes a woman who's inflexible will kind of ruin the mood for everyone else, for example. So you might be out with your group of friends and then one of you says like, hey, let's all go bowling. And everyone in the group is like, yeah, let's do it. And then your girlfriend or your wife is like, I don't really feel like it. And she's kind of bringing everyone down. And she's not being very flexible in that situation. That's a very small example, but the key is you want to look for a woman with a flexible attitude, because if you're going to be with her for 50 years and she doesn't have that, you're going to end up miserable. And so she must be agreeable instead of inflexible. And then the right woman for you is also trustworthy. And she must have high integrity. So do her words match her actions? When she says she's going to do something, does she follow through and do that? Do you feel like she's loyal in general? So you want to look for a woman who is trustworthy because you want to feel comfortable. If you leave town for 3 days, you want to know that nothing bad's going to happen and that she has your back. And when you go out in public with her, she has your back. You want to know those things about her. And then lastly, the right woman for you, the second T, is that she is also trusting. So this is the other side of that trustworthy coin. So not only should you be able to trust her, she should also have the ability to trust you. And some women have really extreme trust issues, and that makes them not able to trust you, and that's going to degrade your relationship over time. Now, of course, you and her both have to earn each other's trust over time. So this is not saying that she should trust you 100% right off the bat when she first meets you. This just means that over a long period of time, if you've never given her a reason not to trust you, and she still is not able to give you that trust at some point, then you're not going to be able to form the kind of relationship with her that's going to keep you satisfied over the long term. And so these are the qualities that a woman must have for you to be happy with her in a long-term relationship. And of course, nobody's perfect. Nobody has all of these things 100%. And there are characteristics that we need to develop within ourselves to be a good partner to her as well. And so this is a two-sided coin. Just keep in mind that if a woman doesn't have these qualities at some level, you're not going to have the kind of relationship with her that you'll be satisfied to be in over the long term, and you're going to have problems down the road. So these are the things that you want to look for. And if you want to go deeper into them, I'm putting a link to an article that goes over each one of these things in more detail in the description box below the video. So the more a woman has these particular qualities that we just covered, the better choice she is for you. And if she doesn't have them, she cannot be the right woman for you. And if you want to go a little bit beyond this, she should also have minimal unhealed scars and baggage that she's bringing into the relationship. And she should also share most of your most important values. If you find a woman who meets all those criteria, then she is the right woman for you. And so, no, of course, when it comes to choosing to be with a woman in a long-term relationship, especially when it comes to marrying her and signing a legal contract, all women are most definitely not the same. There are some who are right for you, and there are some who are not. And so the key to this is just not allowing yourself to be blinded by your own high interest in a woman either way. Don't start treating her differently than any other woman when it comes to attracting her because you start thinking she's special and you have to do something different. No, definitely not. Because if you do that, you'll start to lose her at that point. Just stick to the principles that work no matter what so that you can be successful. And then, on the other hand, don't assume a woman's great just because you have strong feelings for her. If your interest in a woman is very high, you're probably going to start projecting all kinds of positive qualities onto her that you're not really sure if she actually has or not. And what you want to do is look for these qualities over time. See how her personality unfolds as you get to know her over a couple of months when you're first dating her. And then look for how these characteristics start to come out over the course of 2 or 3 years before you marry her. It takes about 2 years to fully get to know a woman that you're dating in terms of her internal characteristics and how she responds to different situations. And so before you sign a marriage contract, wait a couple of years, and so you can really objectively know if she has the qualities we just talked about or not. Because if you don't do that, you're setting yourself up for big trouble down the line. And a lot of my divorced clients know exactly what I'm talking about. So just keep your eyes open no matter how much you like or love a woman, and give yourself a couple years to get to know her fully. That way there won't be any big surprises later on that end up destroying your relationship with her and creating chaos in your life. And of course, if a woman doesn't have the qualities necessary for a long-term relationship, don't commit to her. Find a way to stop dating her and move on to a woman who does have those qualities, no matter how strong your feelings are. When you meet a woman who's right for you, you don't just know. You have to see over time if she has these qualities. That's the reality. If you want to be in a happy, healthy, long-term relationship. Now, you can kind of just go with your gut and end up getting lucky because she randomly has these qualities, and some people do get lucky with that. But what we want to do is actively look for these qualities so that we can make an informed choice. And we also want to develop the qualities that we need to have within ourselves to create that good relationship with her. And so again, are women all the same? Yes and no. And now you can go forward with this truth and be successful. So be careful out there, but try to have fun with this process too, because if you're not able to have fun, then it's probably not worth it. And if you want to know how to attract and keep the right woman for you who does have all of these qualities, we have a free course that we're giving you today. It's called The Formula, and it's a 3-step video series that shows you the 4 elements that transform a woman's initial attraction to you into deep love for you. So you'll learn how to make a woman fall in love with you, assuming that she's interested in you in the first place. And then you'll also discover the 4 elements that keep a woman in love with you permanently once she falls deeply in love with you in the first place. And you'll also learn the biggest mistake that men make in dating and exactly how to avoid it. And you'll also discover exactly how to start applying all of those elements of attraction and love starting right now. So if that sounds good to you, click the link in the description box below this video for the formula, and I'll see you in there in just a second. I'm Jim Wolf with dating advice for men who love women, and I'll talk to you later.